I mean, I think you've got this desperate grasp on technology and this grasp on science, and you don't have a hand left to grasp what's important.
George.
If I had to
No,
choose between a
George.
tumor that got me here and some flash of light from an alien craft, I'd choose the tumor, I would, because it's here, within us. What I'm talking about is the human spirit. That's the challenge. That's the voyage. That's the expedition.
Hey everyone, this is Billy Rude from FIFTY8 Magazine, and thank you for watching The Art of Consciousness. These films are a curation of scientific insights with the study of the unseen, which is spiritual knowledge, in order to integrate with the mastery of will to create a unified individual. By understanding the eternal masculine, which is consciousness, and the eternal feminine, which is energy, we can create a perfect union of a world of warriors who are governed by love that transcends time, dimensions, and space. Consciousness and energy means a dream with power and intent. In this video will be about the power of thought and the path of health. Your personality is the sum total of your neural net programming. Emotion is the hormone reaction to that neural net personality. You have a brain personality and a divine director experiencing that neural net in this quantum field of energy. So everything you experience in your reel, your movie, your reality is held together by your brain personality, by your divine director. We can make a choice every day to wake up and see the body-mind personality or see your divine director, your spirit. It is mind over matter. The body-mind personality means you make a choice to what only benefits the flesh and not the mind. Your divine director and your spirit is the power of your mind over matter. And your ego personality creates for self-glory and uniqueness, separateness, and only tells you things that benefits the self. Spirit is an individual, but blends without shadow. When we are born, we downloaded a map of the soul that says this is what you haven't learned. This is what you need to complete. These are the gifts of genetics you will have in modeling this map. So we are body specific to our frequency. It is specifically designed to have the mind that meets the challenges ahead and turns emotion into wisdom in accomplishing your journey. Thought is a memory of consciousness, like a photograph. Inspiration comes from spirit and freezes the stream of consciousness in the brain and maps it. Thinking is a series of holograms in the brain created to flash in the frontal lobe. The brain thinks in symbols and holograms and not language, and we are the programmer. But is anybody home? Thought is a hologram we hold by the force of our will. Your divine director is the Lord. Energy is the servant. We focus energy into collapsing itself into matter. We reform the particles by reforming the thoughts, the holograms as the divine director. Thought and focus is the only reality. What follows is the mirror of them. Thought is the seed. Energy follows it through form, and a master becomes aware of every thought and only looks in the direction of their wishes. And the picture in the frontal lobe is your movie screen. Your neurons are the crews and the thoughts. The thalamus is the guardian at the door, your producer, and the subconscious is your divine director that approves and sends it to the body to experience. The mind is the first reality. The body and the physical is the second. You send the image to your frontal lobe. It then bathes that picture in the neurons that contain the amino acids, which sends it to the body. Every nerve ending in the entire body is sitting in the brain, in the neurons, like a negative on your movie screen. What you project up here, the divine director then shines the image holographically and then sends the information to the body to experience. Make the mind the primary reality. What you hear in the mind, you neurologically and neurochemically heal in the body. If you don't heal it in the brain, you are never going to heal it in the body.
Welcome back. I was starting to think I was going to have to tell that nice little girl out in the waiting room her daddy's gone.
Nice to meet you too, Doc. Oh, I really gotta get on my way.
No, don't do that. What you need is rest and treatment. You need to check yourself in somewhere.
I'll be fine.
No, you're not. I mean, I know that you're different, but That doesn't change the fact that something inside you is poisoning you.
We make our spirit strong by providing challenges and lack so that it may be triumphant and beautiful. This is why it is so important to address our emotional addictions. Until we collapse the energy of our addictions, our former realities, it will just be a continual loop of the same coagulated energy. This is the training and the initiation. The hardest thing is changing and the discipline. Did you know humanity is the only form of life in our physical environment capable of experiencing absolute joy? So in every way, we should be on the path to cultivating it. Health, like happiness, must be earned. It is a reward for constructive engagement in work dedicated to the common good. And our body is totally dependent on our mind to survive. The body dies because of our attitudes, our addictions to the chemicals of emotion.
But I am not whatever it is you think I am, okay? And it is better this way. Because I suck at this. Bad shit happens to people I care about. You understand me?
Then I'll be fine.
Our mental and emotional attitudes should not burden the future with anguish. Many studies have shown that strong community involvement is one of the most important indicators of health. So it is important to surround yourself with people with a healthy mental attitude. The difficulty of this work is the mental application. It is like kung fu of the mind. We did not fall and die spiritually. We simply got out of harmony with life, and this resulted in all the difficulties we see in the world today. People suffer because they are looking outside of themselves for everything, for healing, happiness, abundance, love, peace, and evolution. Material prosperity is not the measure of soul growth. To seek life from the material world is to lose it, because the things you buy are your armor to cover your fear.
Things you own end up owning you.
And life is about progress, not profit. And progress is determined by the kindness and quality of our expression. Only when we descend to the plane of necessity and expediency do we begin to disobey our inward sense of what is right. The moment life becomes hard, it is not life. We are just out of harmony with their true nature, and the discomfort and the illness is the warning.
Death is a disease. It's like any other. And there's a cure. A cure.
Virtue is the normal condition of the soul. Health is the normal state of the body. But most of us are unaware by the mental subtleties of our unhealthy rhythms of thought. Many are afraid to admit that their attitudes create discomfort and fatigue on their own flesh. Most disease is preventable and curable through the moderation of the mental activity. Disease is a physical manifestation of an evil disposition, which is the disease of the soul. These evil dispositions are when our mental state falls short of normal tranquility. These abnormal mentalities spring from mental bondage to some unhealthy attitude, or as the ancients termed, an unreasonable passion or frenzy. These emotions rot at our bones and flesh. Our soul cannot be denied expression, for it leaves its impressions on the body, because matter is like putty, shapeless until molded by the influence of the mind.
You don't have to fight anymore. Go. Go. Don't be what they made you.
It's not the body that decreases in stature, but it's the soul that withers. It is a known fact that we wear our souls on our faces, and every hair bears witness to our temperaments. Science is now discovering how each little part shadows out the whole, and a disease is a story and a diary, usually a rather revealing account. It reveals what we tell no one. It is a forced confession, but it is a blessing in disguise, a shield from ourselves. The body reacts to prevent us from doing further and greater wrong. And most acute diseases have much to teach, but in the majority of the cases, the cause is evident and may be discovered with discussion. The chronic diseases are mostly found in attitude, for like attracts like, and an illness only persists and thrives where it is nourished by mental likes. Mind is the origin of the disease and infects the body as to cause the physical nature to become fertile ground in which disease may manifest and flourish. Most chronic diseases happen after middle age because it requires many years of mental tenacity to establish them. It is time that weakens the body's structure and creates a reputation of a disintegrative rhythm that is established.
There's no living with the killing. There's no going back. Right or wrong, it's a brand that sticks. Now you run on home to your mother. You tell her everything's all right. There are no more guns in the valley.
If you suffer from a disease, you should realize that you have either thought so badly or acted so unwisely that you have endangered internal values, and unless you correct them, you will continue to suffer. In psychoneuroimmunology is the study of the healing effect of the mind of the body, or mind-body medicine. It has been proven that when we relax and get in touch with the higher power or force or the quantum field with visualization and intention, we can even heal patients with the terminal illness like AIDS through therapeutic touch and intention. We can heal. All of us. When we surrender to a higher power and connect to this field and request, please, may this person be healed, it has been scientifically proven to heal that person. The most important treatment any doctor can give you is to hope for the health and well-being of every patient. The mind controls the destiny of the body.
What you're about to see is not a trick, okay? It's just, let's call it an experiment in energy. Well, everything there is
getting this?
is made up of some living energy, okay? So, you know, all this is kind of a dance or a partnership between the energy coming from me and the energy of the plastic. Now that's it.
Well, why can't we do it?
Well, focus, clarity of thought. I don't know. Maybe you can't.
The attitudes of passion, anger, envy, discontent, fear, and sorrow are the laborers of disease. By banishing discontent, we preserve the body from disease and illness and restore the body to the natural state. Through learning, we come to desire only that which is necessary. Then we can see that civilization is a breeder of plagues and contagion, for from the congestion it produces and generates all manner of crime and evil.
I want you to do me a favor.
Yeah, sure.
I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
What?
I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
Nearly all of us could be cured and redeemed for society by either a strong mental and healthy occupation. The more time we have to pity on ourselves, the smaller the chance of recovery. By dwelling on the disease or illness, it increases in proportion to the patient's fears and invites evil.
Leave me now.
Are you going to talk about this or not?
Please, will you just go?
Is that what you want?
Yes, it is what I want, so please, if you care about me at all, then please just go.
I can't.
I have 2 years to live. I need to work.
I love you.
You've left her. That's a false conclusion.
I want us to be together for as long as we've got, and if that's not very long, well, then that's just how it is. It'll have to do.
You don't know what's coming. It'll affect everything.
Your glasses are always dirty. There. That's better, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it is.
When we begin to analyze ourselves with an ailment, you will discover one whose heart and mind have been eaten by a secret sorrow, some unrequited love or unavenged wrong, real or imaginary. A life spent nursing grudges or even recalling them is a life wasted to better things. If you are sick, then look within for the hidden motives behind each thought. Indeed, if you are not sick, do the same and analyze your inner self to prevent the manifestation of these ills. Hate and health cannot coexist in the same organism. If the superior nature of ourselves, which is the soul and spirit, live together in truth and beauty and cooperate in service for the greater good, then the lower nature, the body, will likewise live in peace, reflecting the wisdom and harmony of the soul. There is but one cure: to re-establish the intellect upon a new foundation, eradicating the old nature and being born again. Like stagnant water when it becomes foul and a breeding ground of disease and bacteria, so are thoughts when denied natural circulation due to opinion and judgment that generates intellectual bacteria that infects not only the individual, but all who come within their sphere of influence. An illness to the body is a disease of the mind. Dissatisfaction is a contamination. Grief is a cancer of the mind. Hate is a frenzy of thought and a potential cause of physical affliction. Tuberculosis is affiliated to despair. Anger promotes infections. Fear inhibits functional activity. Brooding over unreturned loved or activity affect the heart. Worry and grief turns the hair white in a single night. Unhappiness brings palsy, seizures, strokes, thrombosis, cancer, and sorrow. Ego and selfishness affects the spleen. Bitterness, the liver. Pride brings acid to the blood. Despair afflicts the kidneys. Being mean affects digestion. Deep hidden grievances line the face. Greed and jealousy imparts the eyes. As pain is a symptom of disease, so disease is a symptom of mental states. Bacteria represents the actual manifestation into matter of the evil impulses continually being generated by the human mind. So if we can remove the unhealthy state in which they thrive, they will disappear due to the lack of support. The mental attitude will profoundly affect the speed or delay of the patient's recovery. We are closest to which we resemble most. Look at your face. Listen to your own voice. Examine the general makeup of your stature, and you will discover much about the hidden quality that motivates your life.
Do you remember what you told me once? That every passing minute is another chance to turn it all around.
If I find you again,
All of us are victims of circumstance, but some of us allow ourselves to be victimized by circumstance. Each of us lives in a vortex of imaginary troubles, and we make or unmake our lives by our own reactions to those illusions that surround us. We live to how we have been trained, believing in the inevitability of suffering and dying, and too often the suffering will last endlessly.
Our bodies are prisons for our souls. Our skin and blood, the iron bars of confinement. But fear not. All flesh decays. Death turns all to ash. And thus, death frees every soul.
But it's time to change this. Science has confirmed the average tenure of life should be 500 years. Few humans reach this milestone. But why should life be so difficult and death so easy? We live in an environment of excesses which continually lures us out of the state of moderation and incites us to greed, jealousy, passion, or despair. That is why it is almost impossible for an individual to withstand the concentrated thought power of society. So we have created the fashion of dying young, which is deeply etched into the substances of our subconscious mind. We will to die, and so we die. But not me. I plan to live at least 750 to 1,000 years, because why not? To set any limitation upon self, or inhibit the free action of our nature, our destiny, is a grave mistake. Literally, your body is the objectification of your mind.
I have loved you. I did my best.
The political state of the world is the manifestation of a thought form of national impulses and attitudes. As the body suffers from disease of the mind, the state and the nation suffers from the disease of excess, war, tyranny, and injustice. Every president is a reflection of that nation in thought and attitude as a thought form. But as we all accomplish something for the common good, either through integrity of man or the state of the planet, it will abolish these evils. In order to be a master, we must maintain a rational control, learning toward never hating or building attachments and living, thinking, and feeling moderately. This reduces the friction in our inner nature and creates a balanced state of health and harmony. If you will serve the parts of yourself, the whole of yourself will serve you. We must sacrifice the petty gratification that comes from hate, envy, self-pity, and instead enjoy the state of peace, gentle emotions, and a healthy body. Health, like happiness, is earned, and happiness is a harmony in the soul as health is harmony in the physical body. Disease is a departure from nature, and health a return. This realization is the secret to life, and to apply it is to live. Nature is impersonal, and all that is personal must pass away. Nature envies nothing, is jealous of nothing, and is a stranger to ambition. All who are motivated by impulses less universal than those of life will be destroyed by the weakness of their own ideals. The ones who survive are in all things moderate, consistent, and natural, for they live on because they engage the qualities of eternity. When the master's heart is as pure and white as the diamond that he wears, then he may teach others and light a way. The great work of a master can be called the art of balance. The triple energies of thought, desire, and action must be united in a harmonious blending of expression. The true light can come only to those who, asking nothing, gladly give all to it. The true brother of the craft knows and implies one great paradox. They must search for the high things in lowly places and find the lowly things in high places. It takes a lot of effort to be happy, because everybody works on being unhappy. This knowledge will create meaning and magic in your life, and understanding to every choice in your life, which is freedom. Freedom to build greater paradigms of thought, greater mansions, greater thoughts, and more magic and beauty.
It is clear that we are just an advanced breed of primates on a minor planet, orbiting around a very average star in the outer suburb of one among 100 billion galaxies. But ever since the dawn of civilization, people have craved for an understanding of the underlying order of the world. There ought to be something very special about the boundary conditions of the universe. And what can be more special than that there is no boundary? And there should be no boundary to human endeavor. We are all different. However bad life may seem, there is always something you can do and succeed at. While there is life, there is hope.
We get to experience what we have the capacity to dream, to think, to imagine. And the brain loves habits. It is dependable. So create a habit of peace and harmony. We are here to change, to dissolve the old and dream the new. The future is right now, and so is the past. Whenever we elect the moment and are full throttle on the moment, full passion, full involvement, fully there and righteously it, then that is the potential that always was. There is a reality that you are younger, that you are healthier, that you are wealthier, and that you are free. You just have to elect it and expect it to be without any attachment or doubt. And our acceptance level changes after midnight because our brain chemistry changes at night. After midnight, the brain creates a synthesis from melatonin called pinoline, and it's a hallucinogen that simply reforms the body according to attitude. Dreams are the subconscious giving pictures to the body, and pictures to the body are transferred into chemicals and electrical conduits so that every part of the body is repaired during sleep. The dreaming brain is sending messages to the body to be healed. They are all symbols, images, and holograms that are being fed to the body to show different parts of the body to be healed. And to love yourself is to wake up and say, no more. What you have been tolerant of, engage it till you find it tolerant. And what you have hated and despised, engage it until you have found its beauty and love it so. All of these things, in the end you will find were all the aspects of you. That is the love of self.
Look what we made.
Controls the destiny of the body.